Two, hello. Two, check. How's it going, folks? How's it going? Look at that light. So I was just outside. I had to walk to the bank and to the store to get my Monster and a few other little... I got some Epsom salts. I'm an Epsom salts guy now. I went and I got that. Did people sub already? Jeez, what the hell's going on? Risk Inverse. Thanks for the gifted sub. And thank you, Red Wizard, as well, for 32 months tier 1. Very cool. Very cool. I'm about to get pissed on by this rain. Well, that's the thing. It was getting a little gray when I walked outside, and now it's like super dark and just started pouring rain. Like, as soon as I got in. So we got a rainstorm here going, which is unfortunate because my son's going to be really disappointed because he's supposed to have at the end of school today a little like carnival, like end of year at the campus. There's like a carnival with like laser tag and barbecue and stuff, and he was like super excited to go, and now it's like super rainy and thundering and stuff. Who knows if this stream will even last? I may lose power because it's where this city's a power electricity sometimes city now. It's supposed to clear up around 2. Well, that would be nice. I don't hate the weather right now. I would just feel bad if he doesn't get to go to his cool stuff. I didn't anger the gods with a beach stream. Okay? It's not... Your son has a beach day at school. That's cool. That sounds fun. Heading there to chaperones, put TRRS on the Bluetooth speaker. I think that would be the best way to increase your popularity with all the parents, Dakadoon. You throw me on there as entertainment for the kids there. They're going to be like, this is a guy that knows what's going on. He's cool. He's a parent that I can trust. He's got the correct ideas. Maybe you'll connect with fellow Rob heads. Gather around, kids and parents. Let's listen to this blogger give out medical, legal, and financial advice, and do anti-American pro-terrorism geopolitical analysis as well. Covers all the bases. All the bases. Sometimes some life advice as well. Definitely a person who's in a great position to be doling that out. It's crazy how I went from like never really eating kimchi ever to it being like a staple of my diet. This year, it's really become like a maybe not daily, but a major staple of my diet. What would make this really good is if I had those little seaweed wraps. A couple of those. It's crazy how easy you can make like a really nice lunch if you have some leftover rice. This took 5 minutes to assemble. I had some leftover rice. Heated that up. Fried a couple eggs. Threw in some kimchi, the fried eggs, green onion, a little mayo, little Laogan Ma, some sesame seeds, and it's like it was literally like 5-6 minutes to put this together. It's excellent. Rice, the goat of carbs. Pasta doesn't even come close to the versatility. I agree. I don't know. It's tough. I eat a lot of noodles. So I don't know. I'm pretty partial to noodles. And in fact, last night, I made a really good dinner last night. It was like so good. It was one of those dinners that you make and you're eating it and you're just like, oh my God, this is so good. I fried up some those enoki mushrooms and garlic in oil. Okay. I had a salmon thing, so I seasoned the salmon thing. Put that down after a bit. Gave it a little sear and then flipped it over. And then added some like cream to make like a cream sauce. With salt and pepper as well, and made some spaghetti, and then mixed the cream sauce with the spaghetti with the salmon on top and the green onion. Oh my! It was actually a really nice night. Me and my son watched the rest of Avatar: The Way of Water, and I ate my delicious meal, and I was like, "This is pretty good. Doesn't get much better than this for me." That was a really good meal. Added some cheese as well. It was insanely good. And I think my son is fully like he'd watched Avatar with me, and he watched The Way of Water with me when it first came out. But I think he might be fully like Avatar pilled now, which I'm pretty excited about. There's a lot of stuff in there that kids find really cool. James Cameron is so good at just like creating creatures and cool vehicles and weapons. Like James Cameron is like the master of that. When you're an 8-year-old kid, you see it and you're just like, oh my God. Really did that errand just in time. It's really raining now. How old was I when Avatar came out? 25, I think. But I really got into James Cameron because of Aliens and Terminator and stuff, which is the same thing. Like the guns and the tech in Aliens, just like I watched that as a 8-year-old, 9-year-old, and it just like expanded my brain. The pulse rifle and the smart gun in Aliens, and the loader and the Sulaco and the drop ship and the car and everything. All that shit in Aliens just completely obliterated my brain when I was watching that, like 8 or 9 years old. I'm going to show him that one soon, but I don't know. It's still a little scary, that one. It's the kind of thing where I would probably be okay with it, but I'm erring on the side of caution. Going to give him another year or so before I show him that. It's a little scary still. He's 8. Oh, that's good. That's very refreshing. That is very refreshing. And it's weirdly hot. It's like gray and rainy, but it's hot at the same time. I think I'm going to turn up my fan. It's very scary, and Newt makes it real. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a bit of that in Avatar. We talked about it when it came out. I don't need to spend a lot of time talking about it, but just because I just watched it again yesterday. It's really amazing that in like the last hour of that movie, like it's like a tour through, it's like the James Cameron greatest hits. He gives you a little tour. And the last, like, the final big sequence in that movie, it's like at the same time. It's Aliens, it's Terminator 2, it's The Abyss, it's Titanic, and you can see little echoes of all these films. In all these, there's all these little nods to all his previous stuff. It's so cool as a Cameron head, you know? As a Cameronist. A James Cameronist. That's pretty much my official political orientation. I'm a Marxist Cameronist. That's kind of young. I saw Jurassic Park at 9. That's how I calibrate scary movies for kids. If it's worse than dinosaur eating people, don't show it to an 8-year-old. Yeah, I showed him Jurassic Park a while ago. I gotta get this fan fully blowing on me. It's really humid right now. I'm starting to drip with sweat. It's not good. Oh, that's better. That's better. It still seems really like... Where's my phone? Okay. Still seems really dark. I'm almost fully set up here. Now my shirt is blowing like I'm in a music video or something. We got lightning. No, it's like it's quite full thunderstorm right now. Oh, that's nice. I am wearing layers, but I'm a professional broadcaster, Gwynny, and I'm trying to look cool. Okay. I'm trying to look cool. I wanted to wear my little shirt here. And yeah, am I willing to suffer for the entertainment of others and the enjoyment of others? Yes. That's because I happen to take this stuff seriously, all right? I happen to take this stuff very, very seriously. It's only like 20 today? No, but I know, but it's like humid or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, how's everyone else doing? That was my night last night. It was very enjoyable. It was very enjoyable. The basketball game wasn't great. I was hyped for the Mavs game, the Mavs and Celtics game. It wasn't great. I do think, like, when it comes to the sports stuff, especially basketball, you'd think by now that people would learn not to instantly overreact to one game. And for sure, you're absolutely right, Kijiji Genie, as that's what I said on the podcast this week as well when I talked about this. A lot would depend on how ready to go he was, and he came out and just looked amazing. Just right out of the gate. And I think we a little bit forgot how good he is and how much he can kind of change things for them. But still, it's like people already declaring the series over. Like, you'd think people would eventually learn after watching this sport enough that one game doesn't mean all that much, you know? Like, especially after stuff that's happened in this playoff, like in the Minnesota-Denver series, you know, the Wolves win those first two games really convincingly, and everyone's like, oh, this series is over. The Nuggets are going to get swept. And then the Nuggets win 3 games really convincingly, and it's like, oh, this series is over. What were we thinking? We were so wrong. The Wolves are finished. They're going to lose. And then the Wolves come back and win the series. So it's like everyone keeps making these predictions, but like that's the whole thing about sports in general and basketball in particular, is that like games can just play out differently. You can put the same people, the same set of conditions over and over and over again, and there's going to be drastically different results every time. Yeah, I think, Chase, this is a good observation. The wrong Kyrie showed up. He was not bad, but they need him to be like Kyrie Irving in order to even have a chance of winning. And he was making some boneheaded mistakes. Like, he just looked totally out of it yesterday. But that's the thing. Even though they went down like 28 or something early, they cut it to like 10, and then they gave up a run, and then that was the end of the game. But they did look pretty good for stretches. Luka looked pretty good, so you know, I still think I'm still sticking with the Mavs to win the series. I'm still sticking with Mavs in 6. You know, if they go down 0-2, it's still not over. If they go down 3 games, then yeah, of course it's most likely over. But I think people do need to avoid this whole thing of like instantly proclaiming series to be finished after one game. Oh, it's almost time for me to get a haircut, folks. It is almost time for me to get a haircut. It's getting pretty outrageous. The fans beating the Kyrie effigy outside the arena got to him. Did they really do that? Wow. I think we'll see a different, like, it'll be the same thing. Like, if the Mavs come out in game 2 and they look good in game 2 and they go back to Dallas with the series tied, people are going to be doing the same thing. Oh, the series is over. The series is over. Like, it's not, it's pointless. It's pointless to get caught up in the very reactionary take cycle of sports, you know? Miriam Adelson, majority owner of the Mavs, is holding out $100 million in campaign donations to Trump in exchange for a promise of more West Bank annexations. Wow, that is pretty bad. I mean, there's no getting around that. Sports owners in general are just like the most annoying fucking element of this whole like sports industrial complex. They contribute nothing at all. They literally contribute nothing. They're totally useless. They bring nothing to the process whatsoever. Nationalize all professional teams. I've been saying this. I didn't think it could get worse than Mark Cuban, but here we are. I think it can get much worse than Mark Cuban. Probably every single owner has. I'm willing to say every single major sports owner has pretty bad politics. I'm willing to assume without looking into it all that much. There are no player-owned teams, Matrons Militia, but there are the Green Bay Packers who are communally owned, right? Oh, gosh, that's good. You don't become a billionaire without fucking hundreds, if not thousands of people over. Yeah, I mean, they're all billionaires, these owners. Like, they're not good. They're not good people. They have bad politics. You know, that's why when I look at sports, I'm rooting for the players. The players and the fans, you know, I enjoy seeing the actual players who are the ones that do the work, you know, and excel at their given sport or whatever to this like insanely high caliber. I like it's satisfying to see them struggle, overcome adversity, you know, win, live out their dreams. Especially in basketball too, where a lot of players, like I talked, that's one of the main reasons I like basketball so much is because it has this universality. It doesn't have this big barrier to entry. Not like hockey or soccer or a lot of other sports where you need this big investment in order to start playing it as kids. With basketball, it's like one of the most egalitarian sports, and a lot of people that excel at basketball come from really diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. Okay, well, Joe, I know soccer is like you just need a ball and a net. I guess what I was thinking is like playing in certain like soccer leagues and stuff, and you need to have like, I think there is an element of that. Like you need to have a sort of investment. But no, I agree as well. That's exactly why soccer is so popular around the world. I guess hockey is a better example. Or football, where you need all these different you need all this different equipment and pads and stuff like that. It's the same thing with like the Olympics and national sports and stuff like that. You know, I don't like the United States. I don't like Canada. It's a fake country. It's a fake genocidal settler colony, Canada, there's still on a certain level, I see a certain level of satisfaction of like the players that come together to achieve this really cool thing, you know, and getting into the Olympics and getting a little further every year. Yeah, that's more what I meant, Dakadoon, in terms of like getting into organized soccer. Just getting into playing it, there's no barrier to entry, but getting into organized soccer is maybe a little bit more complicated. But I agree, though, that it's like it is really widely. There is a low barrier to entry. That's why it's so popular around the world. I think football is the major U.S. sport with the poorest base. Do you mean of like players? Well, I guess it's one thing too is that there is a big barrier to entry to play football, but because it's big money, there's so much, like, schools have so much budget to provide the things that the players need to play. Public schools, you know, because they make money. They make money with the players. That was excellent. Ugh. Okay, well now I'm ready to go. I'm refreshed. I had my lunch. I went for a little stroll. Oh, thank you, Mistress of Insanity. Yeah, I like this shirt too. I don't get a chance to wear it very often. This is one I got a couple years ago, but it's a little small, so I have to wear it like this. It would look less good if I don't want to like give any spoilers or, you know, alter anyone's opinion of me or whatever, but if I were to try and like button this up right now, it would not go well. It would not be good. So I wear it like this. I guess I was right. I guess I was. How many subs per button? I'm not going to embarrass myself on this. I'm fully willing to embarrass myself for other people's enjoyment sometimes on this program. If you mention your culinary skills on your Grindr profile, you will get smooches. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the tip. Ugh. It is one thing. It is one thing people seem to like. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of ways that, like, you know, I'm not maybe the most appealing match to some people. That's one thing I bring to the table, though, which is significant, I think. Ugh. I still have the Dirt Man song from TikTok stuck in my head. All except like now that the guy on TikTok did like an open verse challenge, and people have been like contributing new verses for it, and some of them are pretty good, but there's one that's like so good and it's really stuck in my head. Cooking is fun, great way to forget about geopolitics for a brief moment. Honestly, Kijiji, that's been something that I've really like focused on a lot over the last year or so, and it's been like really, I think, mentally helpful for me. I think it's like it's one of my favorite things to do, cooking. It really is something that you can kind of lose yourself in, not even forgetting about geopolitics, but maybe even forgetting about, you know, personal situations that you might not want to be thinking about, you know, or whatever it may be. That's just an example. But it's just a good way to dive into something. It's like creative. It's like artistic in a way. You're creating something. You get to enjoy it after. You know, it's like really nice. I've really been enjoying that. Like my meal last night was just so good. I was so happy. The fake achievements from video games just don't hit after a while too. Well, I like those as well. In fact, I've been kind of sidetracked from video game stuff just because of all the basketball over the last 6 weeks. I've been missing out on my hell diving. We've been talking about getting another hell diving squad together in the Discord, so hopefully we can do that soon. I feel like I'm letting the galaxy down. I want to see what's going on with this whole black hole situation. I actually did just because I haven't had a PS4 for a while, and I just ordered like a refurbished PS4 so I can start getting back into some of my PS4 games. I think I'm gonna finally play Red Dead Redemption 2. I tried it. It didn't really take for me. There's things that I liked a lot about it. There's things I didn't like, but now I think I'm gonna get back into it. My problem is ruminating on recipe ideas, but then defaulting to familiar, easy stuff instead. Well, that's the thing, Bon. It's, I think overall, for me, there are a few things that I just go to over and over and over again, but like there's a way to kind of mix it up. Like that's why I like noodles and stuff, because it's just like you can mix up. It's just variations of the same thing. Most of the time that I'm cooking, I would say probably like 75% of the time, it's a variation on the same meal. You have a different meat. You have either rice or a different noodle. You have a vegetable component, either like Chinese broccoli or bok choy or green beans or carrots or whatever it is. And you just kind of like, there's endless combinations of these different things. And then you put some sesame seeds on it. You put some cilantro or green onion on it. You put some lao gan ma, and you got something. And there's millions of different combinations that you can kind of mess around with. Cowboy Rob arc, that's right. My son has played through it like 5 times. It is a time sink. That's it. Like, and that wasn't what I noticed before. Like, I loved Red Dead Redemption. When I tried to play Red Dead Redemption 2, I did find it like there's too many things I have to worry about here, which I found kind of annoying. But I've heard so many people say how fantastic it is, so I want to try and get through that. Oh, you got the cilantro soap, Gene? I'm sorry to hear that, Xena. I'm sorry to hear that. That's very unfortunate. I love cilantro. And no, I've not played Bloodborne. No. I'll probably give Last of Us 2 another playthrough as well. We doing cilantro discourse again? Well, I mean, we don't have to. Personally, I like it. I'm a big proponent. Open world are cool, but rough when your OCD makes you want to get to 100% completion. I always get to 100% completion. No, that's not true. I'm not really a... I'm not really like a video game completionist. That's not something that like bothers me at all. Especially like in like the Batman games, for example, you're going around finding all those like little Riddler trophies and stuff. It's like, I don't want to be doing that. Like, fuck you. Like, I'm Batman. You think I have time to be spending time like zipping around Gotham City, finding all these little puzzles, doing these little puzzles? Like, just like, this is not for me. I got way bigger stuff to deal with here. Xena has to do all the achievements. Well, I'm fortunate that I don't have that same thing. I used to buy cilantro to feed to my rabbit, but I had to handle it with gloves or else the smell on my hands would bother me all day. That's very unfortunate. Whenever I have cilantro in anything that I eat, I'm like, I'm like all about it. It instantly elevates a lot of dishes for me. Yeah, absolutely, Matron's Militia. That sounds fantastic. I'm Batman. That's what I did really like about the Red Dead Redemption, is how that there's like the end of the story and then it continues, you know, not wanting to spoil it. That I thought was really cool as well. I live in an area with a ton of good Mexican food, but I not only have the soap thing, I'm also allergic. Oh no. Man. I feel bad for our non-cilantro enjoyers. How long do you have to walk to the store, Sean? How long is the walk? Currently finishing all the achievements on Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, 125 Steam achievements. I don't think I ever... I remember I played Mass Effect for a while, but never got... I don't think I ever finished the first one. I am looking forward to getting back into that, though. I wonder if I can stream it, because, like, I wouldn't mind streaming it, but, like, I would need to have some kind of setup with the... Can you just plug any camera into the PS4? I would have to have some kind of a alternate PS4 setup, because that's part of the issue for me, too. And that's the reason that I wanted to like get a PS4 again so I could start playing those games. It's because a lot of the time I'm playing PC games and I sit here like all day doing this, and sometimes at night I don't want to be I just don't want to be sitting here in this chair and gaming, you know? I want to be able to go on the sofa. I want to be able to go to a secondary location. Just stream your face and narrate what you're doing in game. That sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. I guess there's a... I don't know how I would do it. We'll see how it goes. Have you considered Elden Rob? Honestly, Sean, like those games... My older brother loves like Demon Souls and Dark Souls in those games. I imagine he played Elden Ring as well. I know there's a big community of people that love those games, and they're beautiful games as well. Like, they look really cool. I don't know that it's for me. I don't know that it's for me. No, Jay, I said Elden Robbed because that's what Sean said. I don't like to die that much. I mean, this is the thing. I watch like sometimes just like highlights of people playing this game, and it's just like, this just doesn't seem fun to me, you know? This doesn't seem enjoyable. I'm glad that other people like it. You know what I mean? I'm glad people are enjoying themselves. Yeah, that was the thing with me, Kijiji. I played the original Dark Souls, and you do that whole process of like learning every single thing in like a level and getting to the boss and getting killed over and over and over and over again. And then you do it, I finally did it. I finally beat the first boss. And then you move on to the next thing. You just start dying immediately over again. And I was like, you know what? This is not for me. I worked to beat that first boss. I got to the next part. I started dying again. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm good. I need more peer pressure, you think? I broke a gamepad playing Elden Ring, but I was super satisfying to complete. Well, I mean, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I just don't think it's for me. Just generally, like, I've never really played a lot of that more like role-playing game kind of stuff. I play video games to be an all-powerful god who dominates, not a pathetic loser that takes 1,000 tries to defeat one boss. That's one thing about like modern sports games that I don't really like. Like I always loved, ever since I was a kid, creating myself in like NBA 2K games or even like NBA Live. You create yourself, and you're like this. You're like a all-star level basketball player in the NBA. You're getting this like fantasy wish fulfillment. I don't want to start from nothing and being bad and having to like practice my jump shot and play over and over and over again to try and get better. That's what the video game is for, you know? Why? That's if I wanted to just practice and play all day and then slowly incrementally get better, I would just play basketball. You know what I mean? I don't need to go into a video game and go and like hustle and struggle to try and like increase my jump shot ability. I would also create Rob Rousseau in 2K games as a kid. Good. I'm glad people did that. I mean, people have seen my wrestler character as well. Rob Rousseau is a legend. He's played professional basketball for decades and is also a multi-time WWE World Champion as well. I would make myself into a 7'5" shooter in NBA Live Wemby before Wemby existed. I would try to like be an enhanced version of myself. Obviously he would be good, but I wouldn't be like maxed out. I like to have a little challenge, you know? So I'd make a very good player, but I like to hover around the like 90, 91, 92 rating, you know? I don't need to go and just like dominate everybody. I like to still have a little bit of struggle. Do you like building games? Like what kind of building games? Like Minecraft and stuff? I do like Minecraft just as like a kind of, I find Minecraft very relaxing. I'm working on a Rob fighter in Tekken 8. Oh, cool. Valheim? Yeah, Lodane's been talking about Valheim. Maybe that's something I should check out. Playing Souls games is like having your actual self in NBA 2K. Yeah, again, it's like, if people enjoy it, I think that's fantastic. You know? It's really not for me. Yeah, Lodane's been talking. I think Lodane calls Valheim Viking Minecraft. I'll look into it. It's not too expensive. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It does look pretty cool. It does look cool. I'll give you that. Seems like it might be still raining, but might be clearing up a little bit. Did you see Alex Jones being forced to sell InfoWars? No, I didn't see that. I saw that he was like crying about selling his ranch. Is he actually selling InfoWars? I mean, won't he just sell it to some like right-wing billionaire and pretty much change nothing about his life? Isn't that the most likely outcome? I'm going to buy it, says Mistress of Insanity. Let's all chip in. How much could InfoWars possibly cost? We should do some kind of a hostile takeover with TRRS. I could take over InfoWars. I could become the new Alex Jones, but good. What do you think about that? If I became Alex Jones, but good. That is kind of part of my whole shtick. Just do your impression. Yeah, I can do my commie Alex Jones impression. Yeah, powerful finger. I mean, that's the more likely outcome. You know, we can laugh at that or whatever, but like, that is the more likely outcome. He'll find some dipshit, like fracking billionaire that's going to keep him on as the host and a salesman of the products. I'm still not sure that he's not just a Fed to begin with anyways, so maybe the US government will foot the bill. In addition to paying his salary. For basically being their cover for all the deep political events. You just get Alex Jones muddying up the waters, leading people down these fucked up paths. People that have genuine, legitimate questions about certain events, whether it's JFK or 9/11 or what have you. Alex Jones is in there to create a bunch of chaos and ensure that anyone that does ask questions about some of those things gets painted with this brush. He tells a lot of lies, but if his stories about his family are even 30% accurate, he comes from a Fed family. Oh, very interesting. That's very interesting. It's so sick to harass family members of children that were killed in shooting accidents. Like, I think we lose sight of how totally fucked up that is. And how nonsensical that conspiracy theory is to begin with. This whole idea that, like, all these events are just faked. Why are these agencies going through these complicated false flag operations? Why? Is it to take people's guns? Well, why haven't they done that? I don't think I said shooting accident. No. That's the whole thing about that conspiracy. They want to take the guns. They want to take your guns, and then they just don't take them. And these conspiracy theorists don't seem to have they don't have an explanation for that. I think I said incident. I don't know. I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying, but obviously it was not an accident. So if I did say that, I retract that statement. Yeah, they're really bad at taking everyone's guns. It seems like more people are just getting more and more guns. In fact, after Sandy Hook and every one of these incidents, gun sales rise drastically. Maybe that's the whole reason for the fear-mongering about the guns being taken away to begin with. You know, they go through these huge lengths to fake these, to engage in these false flag, fake mass shootings, inventing fake people and claiming people are dead that are not dead, and all the kind of things you need to do to carry off this big global illusion where millions of people are sold this fake story. And then they just like, now it's time to take the guns. And it's like, well, what can we do? And they just kind of go, well, we didn't really think that far ahead. We planned this whole thing out to a T. We planned all this whole false flag out. We planned it entirely. Went off without a hitch. We didn't really think that far ahead, though, to like what comes after that. When the guns start getting taken away, you know, how does that happen? Well, the Democrats propose some bullshit thing in Congress that goes nowhere. Well, didn't work out. Whatever. What can you do? Like, what a shitty false flag that is. At least with 9/11, you can see the result, right? No matter what your feelings are about 9/11, you can see, oh yeah, there was a major shift that happened. Powerful people benefited from that. You know, the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan and the 20-year war on terror. Huge, massive new federal bureaucracies created. Huge handouts to the military-industrial complex. Like, you can at least see a link. You can at least see there's a link. So if there was some kind of element of a inside job or false flag attack or whatever it is, you can see like, oh, you can make that case, which you cannot do when it comes to any of these kind of mass shooting incidents. But I will say that it does, in the same way that people like Alex Jones kind of obscure these certain situations where there might be legitimate questions. In a lot of these mass shootings, I don't know if Sandy Hook is one of them, but in a lot of these mass shootings, you got to wonder, like, you know, known to federal authorities. You know, that's the time and time again. Oh yeah, this was one we were watching. We were keeping our eye on this person. You wonder who's on the other end of the Discord conversations that are egging them on to engage in these kinds of things. There is an element of like domestic gladio that you could point to with some of these mass shootings that have happened in the United States. You know? That doesn't mean that like these things don't happen or they're not victims. Of course there are victims. Perhaps there might be more going on than what is led on. But again, this is what Alex Jones does, right? He takes these, you might have valid questions about some of these things, and he completely muddies it up. He completely like leads it down this really dark path, leads people that have questions about certain of these things down this path of reaction. You know, that's his whole role. Delegitimizes a lot of these questions that people have. You don't get it. Those sinister agencies would have taken people's guns, but because Alex Jones and others warned about it, they were unsuccessful. I see. They thwarted the plan. They thwarted the plan. There's absolutely cases where some kid gets egged on by multiple feds and then does a terrorism or gets caught. That was like the whole FBI counterterrorism strategy under Obama. Like, the idea that hasn't happened in other cases, I think it would be delusional to think that it hasn't happened. That was their whole FBI counterterrorism strategy. Finding vulnerable people, convincing them to do terrorism, stopping them from doing the terrorism and being like, congratulations, boys, and like putting the poor motherfucker in jail and giving themselves medals. And there's an element to that about January 6th as well, of course. Absolutely. I mean, that's the January 6th. Like all these militias are just infested with federal informants. Yeah, the Michigan governor. always wondering how many of those terrorism plots foiled or just shit like that. I'm going to say like 100%. So this is what I mean. This is why I think he's kind of an interesting figure, Alex Jones. I think he's a horrible person, a detestable person. I do think he can be very entertaining. I don't think that's deniable. But I think that's like his function, you know? That's exactly what Alex Jones is doing. Well, in St. Lotus, when you ask about January 6th, informants or sympathizers, there's both, I think. There's informants in these militia groups and there's sympathizers in these security state agencies as well. And it's kind of a combination. I think in a situation like January 6th, you can see kind of like these different factions of the security state kind of butting heads. You know, on one hand, you have this like kind of like almost a honey trap for Trump and his supporters to incriminate themselves. And on the other hand, you actually have sympathizers to Trump and his whole reactionary agenda in these agencies like DHS and the police. So I think in January 6th, you have both. You have both of those factions represented. People that actually supported the coup and people that were trying to entrap Trump and his most ardent supporters. And you see both of these factions represented. This is what I mean. See, I could be Alex Jones, but good. This is my whole point when I was saying a few minutes ago. This is why I should buy InfoWars. We can talk about false flags if you want to talk about them. You know, I'm happy to. But let's actually have productive conversations about that and actually like ask important questions about that and not harass the family members of little children that have been killed in school shootings. White hat Alex Jones. That's kind of, it's really like, it's kind of one of my old bits. That's kind of my whole thing. And I just wrap everything in this kind of like, you know, kind of friendly, non-threatening exterior. Look at me. Am I dangerous? Look at me. This guy, really? Oh, is this guy some big danger? Oh, no, not this guy. You know what I mean? That's my whole thing. That's how I get you. And that's how I pull you into the correct grouping of, you know, of anti-American tanky analysis. That's what I bring to the table. Anyway. I'm just tracking some packages. I got some packages on the way. And look, the sun came out. See how much brighter I am now? The sun came out. Maybe my kid's going to be able to go to this carnival thing after all. Have you watched the debate talk between Bernie Sanders and Slavoj Žižek that just came out? No, I haven't. And I don't know if that I want to. I do not know that I want that. I think that may be a hard pass for me as well. I'd rather be Havana gunned. You know, speaking of Havana syndrome, this is like an interesting thing that I was reading about the other day. Because I have tinnitus, right? Like pretty bad. Like this ringing in my ears. And I was reading this really interesting like scientific story, like medical journal kind of thing. Oh, it's all AI. Okay, I see. Wow. And apparently they were able to actually record tinnitus. Like that it's an actual sound. People have said for generations that it's like this, like in your head. It's just this thing that you're hearing in your head. But they were able to actually record tinnitus. They recorded the actual sound. Like there's an actual sound. It's really interesting. It would be actually quite nice to, if they could develop some kind of cure or treatment for it, because it would be really nice to not have this fucking ringing in my ears all the time. Sure, China will figure it out. That'd be nice. Hello, ML Thoughtism. What's up? Where does it come from? Okay, so I do see there's a community note on this. I don't know if this is one of the helpful community notes or not helpful ones. That's not it. It's from this piece here, and now the community note seems to be gone. That's good. They recorded tinnitus. The most mind-blowing moment, not only for De La Mata, but the scientists too, came when they managed to actually record the sounds that she heard in her ears, which now appear as left ear and right ear, which begin sides A and B on the album, and in doing so opened up questions about the nature of tinnitus itself. The NHS definition is that it's a phantom sound that your brain is creating, that it isn't something real, so you should try to ignore it. By having De La Mata place her ear into an anechoic chamber with an ultra-sensitive microphone perched in her ear canal, they were able to provide significant evidence to the contrary. After the first recording of it, there's no way, this isn't possible. They tried again with her breath held, and again with her tensing her ears, and again with other members of staff. But each time it became apparent that yes, the noises De La Mata hears are seemingly something physical. And the community note says only some rare forms of tinnitus can be heard by a microphone, and this has been well known to medical science for over 30 years. It's called objective tinnitus as opposed to subjective tinnitus, which is the more common form and is indeed idiopathic, only in the brain. So, I don't know. So who knows? I don't know. In any way, it would be nice to not have ringing in my ears all the time. You're just vibing, resonating with the frequencies around you, man. Hell yeah. So, but folks, it's Friday. What's on the agenda here? Why am I asking you that? Isn't it me that should be figuring that out? I love when you have this symptom that's like a constant annoyance and something that impacts your quality of life, and the main medical community solution is just try to ignore it. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for that. Tinnitus is a sound weapon developed by the reptilians. InfoWars 2 owner Rob Rousseau. So you can take your tanky analysis and you mix some of that stuff in there. You know, you mix some of that stuff in. That's crazy. My brother has tinnitus. He was depressed for like 2 years after it started. Yeah, I'm just used to it now. Like, and sometimes I don't notice. Like when there's other background sounds or other things going on, sometimes I don't notice. And then when it's quiet, it's like, ah. Calgary put up a Winston Churchill statue yesterday on the same day that the city's water main broke, and residents were told not to shower to conserve water. It would be a damn shame if anything were to happen to that statue, I gotta say. I don't support vandalism or any kind of illegal things, and I hope that no one ever vandalizes the Winston Churchill statue in Calgary. I may not uphold the guy. I might not hold him in very high regard. I don't think this statue is good. But vandalism is wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. And I do hope that nothing bad happens to this statue. Why the fuck is a Winston Churchill statue going up in 2024? That's actually a great question. In Calgary, why? I don't know. Perhaps someone from Calgary can answer that question. Danielle Smith said Churchill fought against anti-Semitism, against segregation, and for fair treatment of workers. And to that I say, LMFAO. And whoever it was that sent this in, I think this is pertinent. Very cool to see Churchill immortalized as the thing he hated most, a brown guy. Why are we building Churchill statues in Calgary in 2024? Why are we doing that? The signs behind them, yeah. That's funny. Just to counteract the woke, we're taking down some statues, so we got to put up more statues of reactionary dipshits throughout history. It's crazy to think of like how much in common Churchill and Canadian leaders at the time too had in common with Hitler. I mean, it is crazy, like, to think that that they went to war with one another when, like, these people would have tolerated so much. If that was the whole deal with Western leaders and Hitler, they were like, if you keep just like pushing east and pushing up to Russia, we don't care. We really don't care. Do whatever you want. Oh, you're persecuting Jewish people? Oh, well, that does not bother us because we live in deeply anti-Semitic societies as well. We don't care. In fact, we're going to turn away boats of Jewish refugees that are trying to escape persecution. That's how little we care about protecting Jewish people that are being harmed by the Nazis. It's like they almost went to war like reluctantly. It's like I guess we just have to do this. You're literally making us partner with the Soviets, who we fucking can't stand, and we've been trying to overthrow this entire time. You're forcing us to work with the Soviets. These Churchill and all these other Western leaders would have been perfectly fine if Hitler hadn't started threatening their empire. Oh, you're doing genocide in Africa? Well, yeah, get in line. We've been doing that for a while. And then Hitler on an amphetamine binge decided to invade France. Yeah, seriously. And even like there was like in with Vichy France, like they may have very well, if it had stayed at that, maybe it would have still been okay with our Western leaders. In the US, I feel like we're about a decade from people openly wondering if we chose the right side of World War II. Well, the thing is, Hollywood Code, we're already seeing that. Like we see that kind of commentary, but it's still fringe. But I definitely think it's becoming more and more. There's more people that are willing to publicly express these kinds of sentiment, you know? But I think the question, Hollywood Code, is if it becomes like an actual mainstream political opinion. And I think you're right that we're on that path. Look at all the Hitler apologia that's happened just in the last 2 years. Like when it comes to like people on this is something we've covered a lot, right? People going on TV and being like, "Oh yeah, Hitler was bad, but he didn't kill his own people like Putin does." Remember that? People going like that was like Michael McFaul. That was the former ambassador to the USSR, not some like random Nazi. There's been people doing Hitler apologia for like openly since really over the last 2 years, since the invasion of Ukraine really kicked that off. Even Netanyahu is engaged in that kind of stuff. Hitler apologia. You know? He's like, oh yeah, Hitler he only got the idea to do the concentration camps because the Arabs told him to. And there's already a ton of connection between Zionism and Nazism. We would have made a deal with the Nazis. We could push them left. Exactly. Exactly. That's what our liberals at the time would have been doing. And then after Hitler was defeated, after the Nazis were defeated, as we've talked about endlessly, we absorbed their whole project, slapped a new coat of paint on it, and then continued business as usual and pivoted right back to fighting the Russians just like the Nazis were doing. That's why we're in the Fourth Reich today. We're applauding Nazis in parliament right now. That's right, Max. And even though there was all this big public apology and everything, look at all the people that like, well, he was right. He was, you got to have nuance when you talk about these Ukrainian Nazis. You got to have nuance about that. People were like openly saying this kind of stuff. Again, these are not fringe opinions. That's what people were saying. We've got to have nuance when you talk about why someone might have joined the SS in the 1940s. Because they were fighting the Soviets. They were fighting the brutal, evil Soviet authoritarian genocidal occupation. You know, there was people saying that. That's how it is, Brandon. Yeah, we need nuance to talk about that. No nuance when you want to talk about the Soviet Union, though. No nuance. Anyway, my point is, though, about this statue is that nothing should happen to it. Okay? We can have statues of people that we disagree with, that we don't uphold, you know. I don't encourage or support vandalism of any kind. Hey, Hildy, what's up? How's it going? Those Ukrainian Nazis lived through the very real Holodomor. No wonder they joined the SS. Exactly. Exactly. Hey, let's not look into any famines that Winston Churchill might have been directly responsible for. Actual real famines for which there's overwhelming evidence. Deliberate starvation campaigns in which millions of people died. Let's not look into any of that, or let's have nuance when we talk about that, right? Let's have nuance when we talk about that, but let's not have nuance when we talk about famines that happened in the early stages of the Soviet Union during this collectivization process, or the early stages of the Chinese Revolution when you're transitioning from feudalism to a industrial economy. Let's not have any nuance about that. That should be an emoji. Rob looks at us directly in the eyes. He encourages certain behaviors. I'm going to have to correct you though, because I specifically said that I don't encourage it. So I don't want it to get twisted here. I don't want it to get twisted. This actually reminds me of a funny scene in this really kind of random movie, The Breakup, with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. There's a scene with Jon Favreau that's really good. That's kind of like what we're talking about here.
So the thing that I was most afraid of happened, and I don't regret it at all because now she knows how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what you got to do now is really think hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to find somebody that can't be traced back to either of us to visit this guy.
What are you talking about?
The guy came with her.
I don't need anything to happen to the guy.
But if they could trace him back to either one of us...
It's not about him. I don't care about
It's
the
a problem.
The guy's, he's not a
They're
problem.
not dumb. Cops are smart, trust me.
Okay, but he's not a problem to me.
Right.
Listen to me. Promise me that you're not going to do anything.
I got you. It's better if nobody you don't know anything.
What are you talking about?
I'll take care of it.
I don't want you to take care of anything. John, do me a favor. I'm being serious with you.
I know. Smart. You're smart.
No, I'm not. I'm being honest with you. I don't want anything to happen.
Me neither.
Promise me you're not going to have anyone do anything to this guy.
But you got to tell me exactly what you're going to tell them if the cops come to you, because we tell a different story.
Nothing.
We
promise me one thing, John. I'm going to go home. I can't do this. I'm exhausted.
But just make sure that your neighbors know you're going home. Do me a favor. They got phone records. Make a couple phone calls tonight, especially around 10.
Please don't do anything.
All right.
I don't mean like, I mean honestly.
No, I get it.
This is me in the statue.
I don't want anything to happen.
Right. Say it louder.
I remember that movie being a lot more like dramatic than you think it's going to be. You think it's going to be kind of like a Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston kind of romantic comedy kind of thing, and it's pretty dark. That scene is, I always remember that scene though. That's very funny. A sure thing. No, of course. No, but I don't want anything to happen. No, definitely not. Anyway, I guess if at some point we should talk about some serious shit. I think I'm going to have a Coke, though. How do you feel about that, Chad? I think I'm going to have a Coke. I don't think my Monster was quite enough. I'm going to go ahead and do that. One sec. It'll be so funny if this comes back to bite Rob in the ass. It's always been a dream of mine to be sitting in a courtroom and having like a transcript from a podcast or a stream being read out to me. Perhaps this is going to be one of those cases. Like 5 years from now, fast forward, I'm going to be sitting in a courtroom, and there's going to be someone like reading a piece of paper saying the things that I'm saying right now, and I'm going to be sitting there like, you know, maybe one day I'll get there. I'm day drinking. I'll have some Coke also. That sounds nice, Hildy. What are you drinking? Who was our Albertan friend that got dragged into court over the Nazi memorial? Well, I don't think he ever saw a court over that. I haven't been in touch with Duncan about that for a while. I don't think that case went anywhere, though. Duncan Kinney did nothing wrong. And whoever did vandalize that memorial was correct to do so. Whoever did vandalize that memorial did nothing wrong, but neither did Duncan, who was never proven to be responsible for that. Forty Creek and Nanaimo Bar Creme Liqueur. That sounds very nice. That sounds very nice. Cherry Coke Zero with ice is hidden. That's just fantastic sometimes. This is just a regular DC. This is just a regular DC in a glass. Very nice, though. What a beverage. I just opened up a beer before 1 p.m. here after work. Don't judge. The key component of that is after work. You're good to go. Did you get any limes for emergency tropical streams? No, I haven't been to the grocery store since then. Maybe next time, though. I'll probably do a couple more of those tropical streams before the summer's through. One of those days I'll get an actual coconut half. And we'll go all the way with the tropical stream thing. And we'll really push it. We'll really push it further. At least, even if I don't have half a coconut to drink out of, at least get some kind of like a tropical with some umbrellas and some ridiculous stuff in there. Watermelon filled with vodka. You know, one good base for a drink is that like blue lemonade. Is it like Calypso, I think? You get that blue lemonade, you can mix that with some like flavored vodka, maybe. Maybe a little bit of fizzy water. I wonder if coconut rum would work with that. That would be kind of nice. Get the steel drum band in studio. Tropical. I don't know about Tropical Tuesdays. I don't know if it's a weekly thing. Maybe that's a little too much tropical craziness. We'll do a couple more though, definitely. You're leaving a lot of subs on the table. I didn't even make it to my goal on that day. So I don't know if the math checks out. Figure out some kind of vacation schedule, because like in a couple weeks I'm going to be spending some time with my son. 2 weeks, I guess. 2 weeks from now his school is over and he's going to be with me for like quite a while. I'm going to have to figure out some kind of vacation schedule where I can come in at least maybe, because I'm not going to be able to do 5 streams a week for a brief period. I have to try and pull something off. Summer just started here and I'm freaking out trying to figure out how to work and have this kid survive. I might be able to do like a couple of streams like while he's here with me, but like I can't be doing that every day for 3-4 hours. Like I just can't. I can't do that. And like, you know what? I do need a little bit of time off. I absolutely love doing this stream and doing this show and everything like that. It gets to be like kind of fucked doing it over and over and over every day for months and months and months. Definitely. Gwynny, thanks for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I do need to take a little bit of time this summer to, take a step back, spend some time outside, spend some time with him, visit other family members. I'm trying to plan some fun stuff to do with him, you know? But I'll try to have some kind of schedule where I don't just completely disappear. Spend some time at the DNC, but that's not happening anymore, unfortunately. I really did want to go to the DNC, but that's really not going to be possible because he's going to summer camp at that time at the end of August. And it's right next to where I live, and I'm going to have to be responsible for him at that time. I took 2 weeks off from work last month. I've never felt more refreshed. Well, and I completely get that. But that's the whole problem with like when you're a gig worker for the Amazon Corporation, no matter what you're doing, you don't get vacation time. That's the problem. And every day that you're not doing the thing, the gig work, you're like, I'm losing income. And you can't fully relax because you have this in the back of your mind. That would be nice to have a salary eventually. I would love to be able to do the work I'm doing now, but to have an actual salary, ooh, baby, that would be nice. Is there a shadow convention? I don't even know. I don't even know what the plan is with that. If it's going to be if it is partially online, I don't know what the whole reasoning is. Like the convention that's when you kick off the campaign. You get a big bump from like the big campaign event, you know? And like, what's going to be the excuse if they do a partially online campaign? Like what possible reason would they have? Oh, after 4 years, we're really concerned about the COVID again. Actually, it turns out paternity leave was the only time in my working life I'd been off that long. It was great, even with a newborn. Yeah, I was freelance at that time, so I didn't really have that to the same extent. But at the beginning of COVID, though, when I was on the SURB, that was something, you know. And when I was on unemployment, 10 years ago. I had a few months off being on unemployment, and I was just like, this is just the best. This just rocks. The Institute will be funded when our boomer parents bequeath their property to us and die off. The SURB was such good times. I was talking about it on the podcast the other day, and it was just like, man, I've mentioned it before, but it really was amazing. If you've ever been on any kind of benefit, whether it's employment or welfare or whatever it is, it's this there's this bureaucracy around it. It's complicated. It's frustrating. It makes you want to just not do it because of how complicated it is. And during those 5-6 months, when SURB was around, literally just going to this website and being like, hey, do you need $2,000? If you need $2,000, just click this button, and you just click it, and they're just like, here you go. It's just like, it's literally that easy. It is literally that easy. It's truly amazing. And like I've said a number of times, that's why they had to be like, okay, cut this out. We gotta knock this off. We gotta cut out. We can't get people the idea that it's this easy. It is too bad SURB was not available for all. I was lucky to get it. And so many people have had to pay back SURB, while like small businesses that got even bigger loans didn't have to pay that back. Those were all forgiven. Just use the computer to mark up the size of our accounts. They can do that at any time. The government can do that at any time. At any time, the state, the government can just use the computer and mark up the size of your account. Insane. Kind of sad to say the most relaxed I've been in the last decade was when I had 6 months off to recover from major abdominal surgery. Like I was in pain, but I didn't have to worry about any work bullshit. It's so dystopian, isn't it? It's so indicative of like how totally inhumane our entire economic system is when people say stuff like that. Oh, lucky me, I have major abdominal surgery. I can finally take some time to just fucking relax for a few months, a few precious months where I don't have to worry about running in the hamster wheel and creating value so I don't die, so I can pay for food and housing. Lucky me in my major abdominal surgery. Lucky me in this global pandemic. Lucky me in this global pandemic. That means that I can have my material needs taken care of for a couple weeks. Like, what kind of a sick system is this when we start talking like this, you know? I work for Service Canada, and the amount of energy CRA spends on clawing back petty-ass EI and SURB claims is pretty despicable. Yeah, and again, never for like the wealthiest people who get way more help, way more subsidies. What's insane is people who don't try to relax in those moments. My mom was trying to remotely work the day after an emergency surgery in December. She was worried about losing her position. It just rewires our brains in these horrible ways. You know, it goes against our humanity. We get our brains reprogrammed to just go against our basic humanity, our basic human needs. Where you feel guilty. Oh, I had emergency surgery, and you feel guilty for like taking time off. What is the I don't know what your mom does for a living, but it's like, what is the Verizon family going to do without me? They need me. Or like my fucking email job or my ad agency. Oh, things are going to fall apart. I can't take vacation. I can't take sick days. Someone's going to leapfrog over me. I've never felt guilty bagging off work. Fuck it. Well, me neither. Me neither. I hate that shit. I would not do this more often if like my salary wasn't dependent on me showing up to do this every single day. And we know that we're just that replaceable. She works as a project manager for a software thing. Yeah. I'm just going to be, if I don't show up, someone's going to take my place. Conservatives hate the idea that they can pay people with taxes and still have people working anyway. It's why they keep killing every UBI experiment before they reach any conclusions. Yeah. like a lot of these conservatives don't understand this idea that like people that are on food stamps or welfare have jobs a lot of the time. It's not only that they're looking for jobs, but they literally do have jobs. And these whatever meager benefits they are literally just subsidies for their big corporate employers who don't pay them a living wage. And then they blame the people on the food stamps rather than the corporations not paying the employees. Massively profitable corporations that have the funds and the ability to pay their employees but do not. My mom was a care worker for the elderly who basically felt forced into retirement due to COVID and the way it was handled, while also watching a lot of her clients be allowed to die off. Yeah, and good thing that whole industry has changed, and on all the glaring problems with that have been addressed. And of course that there was like consequences and punishment put in place for like the owners of this like of these various like facilities who were exposed as being totally negligent. It's so nuts that they audited the hell out of the individuals that received SURB, but barely even looked into corporations that received CEWS. The fraud rate was way higher for CEWS recipients. Rogers, TELUS, and the government still hasn't confirmed if they paid the money back. Yeah, and a lot of that was just forgiven. Don't worry about it, whatever. When I take days off that are in my contract, my bosses and support staff will call me and ask questions all day anyway. It's sometimes more stressful than just being at work. Yeah, like there's this expectation that you still need to be on call even when you're not there. Like this whole thing, oh, we've noticed that you clock in at exactly 9 and you leave at exactly 5. Like what's in your performance review? We're going to have to take a look at that. What do you mean we can't contact you at 7 or 8 or 9 in the evening? What do you mean? This is getting me pumped for my 2 o'clock meeting. Okay, good. I'm glad. One point of caution on UBI specifically is that it has been pushed by some libertarians as a way to cut and marketize social service. Yeah, I think that's important to point out. I think UBI might be an interesting experiment if there's a robust social safety net that exists and UBI is in addition to that. If it's being used to like cut people's disability benefits, cut people's unemployment, and cut all these other social services elsewhere, it's not going to work. My job docked people's reviews during 2021 for taking sick days. Good Lord. Jesus, what a fucked up system. It just does nothing about it make sense. It's just totally contrary. It's totally contrary to all our human instincts. It takes away our humanity. It slowly sucks away our humanity. UBI would also work only if there's heavy regulation on like landlords and stores. Yeah, and I'm sure we can trust our governments to do that as well. Like that's the whole thing with SURB and unemployment and all the COVID benefits that happened. And they say, oh, it just caused inflation. It just causes inflation. When we give people unemployment, when we give people these kind of income, this kind of stimulus, it just causes inflation. It's not that you have the owners of like property and land and grocery stores just saying like, oh, people have money, gimme, here, price is up, so we get that. You don't get that. That's going to us. It's not going to you. No. It just causes, when you give people money like that, it just causes inflation. It just happens. It just happens. It's like science. Yeah, we talked about exactly this on the last Insurgents episode. It's frustrating, isn't it? It's very frustrating. like I've talked about before, it's like, man, I am so close to like being completely happy and satisfied in my life. Like, you know, happiness is kind of like a mirage sometimes. Obviously, everyone goes through peaks and valleys. We can't always expect to just be happy all the time. But like a huge percentage of the kind of things that I'm stressed out about, or the things that make me kind of like not enjoy my life, are all just like financially related, you know? Like, I really do not need much to be happy. I really don't. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's really nice. It's spacious. It overlooks a little park. I spend time with my son. I do work that I find meaningful. I cook. I watch films that I like. I see friends. Like, that's all I need in life. That's literally all I need in life. What stresses me out is being in debt, having to pay for bills and housing, and not totally being sure from month to month how that's going to go. You know, having credit card debt, back taxes, that kind of shit. That's what makes me feel stressed and anxious and depressed. I don't want to sit there and minimize if people are depressed for other reasons. Like I said, it's not always just entirely related to material issues, but a lot of the time, there's a lot of it that is. I think that's a really frustrating thing for me, and honestly, that's what I've been trying to do lately. Because I have got to find it, like I'm anybody. I've got financial problems. I got things that I'm kind of stressed out about, and like when I can afford to do this, I just try to just put that stuff out of my mind and just like try to enjoy my life day to day. I just if I can put together a good like 3-month stretch that like I'm treading water in terms of like bills and stuff, but I'm mostly okay and comfortable. I just try to enjoy that and not be like, but what about this thing in the future that I owe, and shouldn't I be putting money aside for this? I'm really just like, I really just try to enjoy the moment. If I can ever put together a stretch of a few months where I feel like I'm getting by, I'm not like worried about how much money's in my bank account, and I just worry about that stuff later. I just set that stuff aside and I worry about it later. I won't be happy until Bezos hollows out a second mountain. But that's it. Like, I think about that a lot. Like, I'm so close. I'm so close to live like having a life that I think is totally satisfying and that I have value. And it's entirely just like these kinds of financial issues that prevent that. Anxiety is so killer, but little treats help. That's right. It's just, I just worry about it later. You know, I know there's some people that just, you have something like that and it completely just overtakes everything and you can't think about anything else. I'm very good about thinking about other things. And maybe it's not responsible, probably. It's probably not very responsible. It's maybe a little immature even. But I guess that's my view sometimes. It's like I can spend my entire life feeling like shit about things that need to be done eventually, or things that are becoming bigger problems or whatever. I can spend every moment of my life worrying about that, or I can spend some moments of my life worrying about that, and even more moments just not thinking about it all that much and just trying to enjoy my day-to-day reality. But it's true though. Like I honestly feel like so close to being totally content in my life. Like I really do. Like last night, I talked about my night last night. I made myself a really nice dinner. I'm hanging out with my son. I made some dinner for him. We're hanging out together. There's a rainstorm outside. I'm here in my 2-bedroom apartment that I really like, where I'm having a nice meal. I'm spending time with my son, who's like the most precious thing in the world to me. my best friend, and we're watching Avatar: The Way of Water, and I was just like, this is all I need in my life. Like, this is really not that complicated. I don't need more than this. This is it for me. This is all I really need. I really was thinking that last night, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And that's what I mean. When you're having those moments, just trying to enjoy those moments and not letting stuff from the future that you can't control take that away from you. Take that enjoyment away from you, you know? You should consider wanting more and more until it totally consumes you. Have you thought about that? That's ultimately the hell that a lot of like wealthy and powerful people have constructed for themselves. You know, these people aren't happy. They have those material means taken care of, and they're not happy. Ironically, acknowledging the human race will be functionally extinct in 10 to 20 years from global heating can really free your mind up from the rat race BS. I don't worry about saving or retirement shit anymore. I guess that's something I try not to think about all that much either. Drippy shits. I don't think I'm quite so pessimistic as you. You know? I think things look pretty bad right now, but I think there may be some surprises coming down the pipeline. It's true though that I don't think much about like my 70s and retirement and that kind of stuff. Like, I really don't think about that at all. And even in Quebec, like, I pay into a retirement, so it's like I'll have some kind of, if Quebec as such as it is now still exists at that time, but like, we don't know. You're supposed to think about good things more and bad things less. That's how it goes. Life could be a dream.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, 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 shaboom. Life could be a dream. If I could take you
Look at this guy.
paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again. Shaboom, and open we'll meet again. Boom, ding dong, ding dong.
He's so happy.
Life could be a dream. If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Every time
All I can think about is wanting a pet monkey. I mean, I feel like chimps are such cool creatures, you know? They seem very dangerous, though, at the same time. And it's probably not good to be having a chimp because of the whole idea of like how they're in captivity in the first place. I would love to meet a chimp one day, though. I would love to at least meet one chimp in my lifetime. My favorite thing is that I have anxiety about things that may never happen, and probably will not, actually, Mistress of Insanity. Not only may never happen, but probably will never happen. That's one thing for me. It's like, maybe I think I go too far on the other side of that. I think I go too, I try not to worry about things that may happen, you know? But like, one thing I try really, really hard not to worry about are things that I have no control over that may not or probably will never happen. Those things I worry about when they do happen. We cross that bridge when we come to it. It's always been my philosophy. Nothing is cooler than taking an edible and watching the primates at the zoo. I imagine so, yeah. I love this guy. This is the best guy.
life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
This orangutan is like the coolest guy ever.
Life could be a dream. If I could take you up and place up above. If you would tell me
I like all the different songs people have mixed into that clip too. That clip of the orangutan. Yeah, they're so cool. They're so cool. And he's just vibing, that guy. Literally living without any knowledge or care about accumulating wealth. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So you get caught into that cycle of accumulating wealth. I don't give a fuck about accumulating wealth. I don't care. All I want is to be able to just live here in my 2-bedroom apartment, spend time with my son, spend time with friends, work on things that I find interesting, work on art and music and that kind of stuff. That's all I want in life. It's really not unattainable at all. Like, at all. You know, and that's one reason that I really appreciate, and it's taken me a lot of work to get to this point, but it's one reason that I appreciate that, like, I'm able to do this show because I'm creating something that I find interesting and fun. I'm interacting with you, the community. I feel like maybe I'm contributing something somewhat of value to people. People have said to me over the years that I don't want to, you know, go too crazy with this, but people have said that I've helped influence them in certain ways, or I've helped them understand certain things. That gives me like a fulfilling sense that I'm not just completely useless. Certainly there's people that are doing far more important work than I'm doing. I don't want to pretend that like I'm more important than I am. I really do not. But that's one reason I feel very fortunate that I'm able to do this each and every day. You got to monetize the rot, but in a good way. Exactly. That's what I've been trying to do on this program, folks. And if you do enjoy this show that you're currently watching, if you've enjoyed being part of this community, if you like the commentary and the analysis and the conversations and the interviews, etc., if you do enjoy that, if you can, please subscribe to TRRS. As you know, the only way that I'm able to do this show every day is if this little number at the bottom of the screen goes up. So if possible, and again, that's not wealth accumulation. That keeps me alive. That keeps me alive for another day. And there's things that need to be addressed that are not being addressed. Believe me, I'm not accumulating wealth. I'll be the first to tell you if I ever get to that point. I am not accumulating shit. But if you can, please do subscribe, folks. Help me support this show. Help me keep the show on the air. Help me make the little number go up, if you can. It's $5 a month. It is totally free of charge. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can convert that to a Twitch Prime sub totally free. You can gift subs. You can give bits or tips or whatever it is. But if you can, please do subscribe. It helps support this show. Oh, and thanks, Anon. I don't think I mentioned Anon 6 minutes ago. Get the sub. Thanks, Anon, for that. Pocket watching my man's flannels. I did just order 3 new loud shirts. So I am accumulating those. That's true. And this is the thing, Jay. This is kind of why I'm... Oh my goodness, Joe. Is it really not going to do the alert? Is it really, really not going to do the alert? My bank account is $87. I live in a 3-bedroom, 3rd floor of a triple decker with my 2 sons, and I've never been happier. It really, really doesn't take much. You know, it really doesn't. And Jay said a few moments ago, and Joe, I'm gonna thank you for that in just one sec. I just wanted to get to this comment, and I'm gonna try and manually play the alert because gifting very generously. I'll just say thank you now. Very generously gifting 10 subs and not getting the alert is fucking bullshit. Joe, thank you so much for the very, very generous 10 gifted subs. It's very cool. I'm gonna figure out a way to play the alert manually. But Jay says I make now it was a while ago. Now I'm getting confused. Maybe this is giving too much info, but I make about $100K a year, and I still find it hard to save for anything. My house takes up 60% of my income every month. This is one reason that I really don't mind renting. It seems like that's a really common experience with like home ownership. And like definitely home ownership needs to be more attainable. But it's one reason that like I'm actually okay with renting because I'm fortunate enough to live in a place where I can rent and not feel like I'm getting completely fucked. Like I feel like for whatever reason, Montreal, I don't know what it is about Montreal exactly that is like this, but like I don't feel like I'm getting. I'm mostly okay with renting, but I hate like hell paying more than I ever have for the smallest apartment I've had since my mid-20s. Again, I'm really lucky. Whenever we talk about this, I try to remember that my experience with renting is different from probably like 99% of people that live in North America. You know? As I've said a number of times, like the apartment that I live in now in almost any other city in Canada would be probably 2 to 3 times more expensive. Renting would be cool if it were a situation where we could do what we want without accruing fees or having to get permission, and it would be more secure for month to month or 1-year leases. Yeah, like a renting that was like actually regulated and was going through the state where you had security and protections, or like in the Soviet Union when it was tied to a certain percentage of your income and it was not ever going to go above this certain percent. Oh, how do I do this? They've changed the Streamlabs. Hold on. Okay. Joe, this is for you.
Wow. Okay, Rob. Seriously, wow.
Oh, shit. This is so stupid. Fix your alerts. Fix your alerts. Okay, one more time.
Wow. Okay, Rob. Seriously, wow.
There we go. There we go. We did it. That's for you, Joe. And if anyone else wants to please support this program, 21 more subs to go to get to the goal. So if you can, please do subscribe and support the work that I do on here. You need another alert with a tropical outfit? Maybe, yeah. The 20 alert, the 20 gift sub alert has been rare enough that I haven't felt a huge inclination to make alerts for like higher numbers than that. Oh boy, is the 20 alert, is that ever fantastic though? Is that ever fantastic? Not that I know if he would even play if someone were to do that, but that's the 50 sub alert for when Strip Club Breakfast Buffet drops in again. You need a 50 and a hundo one? I don't know. Maybe it's like a if you build it, they will come thing. And if I do the alerts, then maybe someone will come through. Maybe I could clip myself singing. Maybe I could clip myself doing that Todd Rundgren song that I did a couple weeks ago. But I think that's like an important kind of point that we were circling around to there. It's like this whole idea of wealth accumulation. It's so toxic. It just like completely destroys you. It just destroys your humanity. Like you do not need to be wealthy to be happy. Like that's the whole difference between like the money doesn't buy happiness kind of thing. I think that the difference is wealth doesn't buy happiness. Wealth doesn't buy happiness. Money actually does. Because when you need money and you don't have it, it's very hard to be happy. Money actually does buy happiness, but wealth does not. When your whole life begins to revolve around making a little number in the computer go up, when it has no actual impact on your day-to-day life, even after you've won. You have everything taken care of. You have housing, food, security for your family forever. Locked down, and these people are still just fixated on growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. That's a sickness. This is why when we talk about like taking that away from people, taking that away their wealth, we're helping them. We're trying to help them. If we want to talk about like the billionaires and the oligarchs that control our society, you know, we're not trying to be mean to them. We're trying to help them. We want to take that away from them so they can actually live productive lives and they can free themselves. They can free themselves from this mental prison of wealth accumulation. You know what I mean? You don't have to live like that. China is literally starting to do that now too. Like, even though China, because they've created this kind of like, you know, wealthy capitalist class because they've used capitalism to develop their society. But now that's one thing that's happened under Xi Jinping, where it's like, if you're going to start flaunting, if you're going to start being weird about it, that's going to be a problem for you. It's one thing if you're going to make some money in this system. If you're going to start being fucking weird about it, we're going to come down hard on you. Yeah, I really think about it a lot, honestly. I'm really not far away from living a life that I find like totally, that I can be totally happy with. It always feels just out of reach. No more beach today, but we'll be back. We've been talking about a weekly vacation stream. And I think that might be a little much, a weekly tropical stream, but we'll go back to the tropical paradise. Maybe we can do another few locales. We can go to another locale next time. I prefer Air America CIA. Please come back Miami Rob. Well, I'm glad people liked that bit. The next super yacht I buy should do the trick to make me happy. Exactly. Then finally I'll be thrilled. Like I've talked about it before, that's why I think Succession was like interesting to watch, because you kind of see that was kind of what it was about, right? And you see the opulence that they live in, and the yachts and the hotels and the cars and whatever it is. And these people are just miserable. They're just absolutely miserable fucks. How about a series called Rob Around the World, a series where you virtually visit actually existing socialist states? That's honestly something that I would like to do actually in reality. I would love to do something like that in reality. Like, we talk often about going to DPRK and stuff like that. Like, I do genuinely want to do that. I would love to get to a point where I could actually go and do that. The TRRS DPRK friendship delegation. It's going to happen one of these days, folks. It's going to happen one of these days. We might end up exiled there by our governments. It's always funny when people say that. Well, oh, you think North Korea is cool? You go live there. I'd be happy to live there. I think that would be fantastic. Oh, why don't you go live in China then if you think China's so great? Have you seen China lately? It looks fucking amazing. Maybe one day I will even. I can't really go anywhere because I'm a parent, though. I can't leave my son. He needs me. That's why I gotta stay. I gotta stay in the belly of the beast for him. Yeah, we could learn Korean. Learning Mandarin is also pretty difficult, but like it's not impossible. And maybe technologically we'll get to a place where it's like we can have a kind of universal translator kind of thing. Like that technology already exists. It's just a matter of like refining that and speeding it up until it's in real time. We're close to having somewhat universal translator technology. Yeah, just Elon. Just leave it to Elon Musk and just let this man implant that shit in our brains. Don't they have those in the UN? Well, yeah, but it's not like automated, you know? But like we have translation software now. So if you had if you had an earpiece that was translating with like computers in real time, and another person had the earpiece, and you could speak with one another and just it's being translated in real time. Anyway. We'll just draw straws to see who learns what dialect of Chinese, then we'll all be fine if we to visit and team up. I think that's a great idea. We each learn a dialect. Should be no problem. Yeah, I agree, Sean. It's just about who's controlling this technology. You know, that's one thing that maybe one of my views about like technology that's somewhat controversial. It's like I'm not anti AI, but AI currently, the way the people that are controlling it, you know, it's the people that are controlling it and like what uses it's being put to. It I don't see, like, people have made the connection with like crypto and NFTs and stuff, and I don't really agree that there's like, I know the similarities obviously, but like crypto and NFTs are not real things. Like that was all fake. AI, whether you like it or not, or you like the people that are behind it or not, is an actual product that like actually has some kind of like merit or value in theory, unlike crypto or NFTs, which was just nothing. It was just a completely meaningless thing that people were just money, like a meaningless money pit that people were throwing money into. AI does actually have some real value if it's being used by the right people and for the right reasons, which is why I want to see what China does with it. That's the exact reason why. AI that's not controlled by libertarian tech dipshits in the United States. You know, like I know people have a lot of opinions on this, but for me, you know, growing up watching Star Trek and stuff, the fact that I can sit there and have a back and forth conversation with a program in my phone, I find that really interesting and fascinating, you know? It's an actual product, like it's an actual technology. AI as it's being run right now is burning huge amounts of energy to make shrimp Jesus for your grandma. Yeah, I mean that needs to be addressed. I think there's other areas that are where we're burning a lot of energy unnecessarily that can probably be reined in as well. That's like the core use right now. Yeah, like the Facebook AI slop of people being like, "It's my birthday, can I get a like?" And it's like this weird, like, mutated creature. We need to deviate from the Fallout timeline and pivot to the Star Trek timeline minus World War III. The thing is, though, Xenosiotter, here's the unfortunate reality, you know, which is, you know, similar to what Mao said, you know, decades ago now. The threat of imperialism has to be destroyed. And the imperialists are not going to give up their power quietly or without a fight. That's just the reality. So we might someday get to the Star Trek future, but I don't. I think the Star Trek timeline is inseparable from World War III. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't. You know, I wish this wasn't the case. I wish this wasn't the case, but these people are not going to give up their power and their control and their hegemony without violently lashing out at the rest of the world. You're saying we can't vote out the threat of imperialism? No, we can't. And we can't protest it away either. If we just do enough protests, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to knock it off now. We're going to knock it off now. You know, that's just the unfortunate reality. What if we call out their hypocrisy? Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. They're going to say, you're right. You're right. I'm being hypocritical. I've been exposed as being a hypocrite. And then everything's going to be fine after that. Everything's going to be good. Everything's just going to go back to normal. Let's look at some AI slop though, because it is quite funny. You know, it is funny. If it wasn't destroying the world, like maybe we could even appreciate some of this fucking weird art that's being created. You know? Oh shit. I have just a tiny little window here. Like 99 years of luck. You will never lack money for your trip and travels. Beautiful cabin crew. Scarlett Johansson. Hashtag boom challenge. Happy birthday, soldier. Today's my birthday. No one love me because I'm poor. A crying troop with a backwards flag and gibberish. A bunch of flags lying on the ground. He appears to be in some kind of like 1970s like nuclear reactor kind of thing. Because is spelled wrong. Would you consider having Edward Anguesso Jr. on the stream? He's been on the stream before. I would be happy to have him on again, but he has been on before. This poor guy. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? I don't know. You know, if this wasn't destroying the planet, maybe it would have some kind of value. Like, it's kind of funny. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Thank you for your service. These guys. Biker Mice from Mars. My kid is very into Biker Mice from Mars. He really likes Biker Mice from Mars. These poor guys. None of them have legs. OMG. Nobody can take away your pain. Don't let anyone take away your happiness. Oh, this one was funny. Like Tommy Robinson was sharing this. Like there's actual images of D-Day. And on D-Day, all these weirdos are like sharing this like AI D-Day image. We will remember them. And they, instead of showing an actual image of the troops, they have this like AI slop running into the water. And someone even said like, why are they going into the water? And he was like, they're evacuating the wounded in it. It's running into the roaring ocean. Oh, here we go. Today's my birthday. Look at this. Did you see the video of Biden getting confused at the D-Day thing? Yeah, when he like goes to like sit down and Ken is struggling. Apparently some of that was fake news because there was a chair there and he was still struggling to sit down in it. Jesus is on life support just because people won't like this on their Facebook group. This is what your lack of engagement with this post has done. And he's like not holding the sign. Look at his fucked up hand. If you liked this image on Facebook, Jesus would no longer be on life support. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? What is this? Zeus is the dad who stepped up. Beautiful cabin crew. Scarlett Johansson. Hashtag boom challenge. This is what the establishment truly fears. This says a lot about society. It's true. This is so disturbing. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? So it's Jesus, he's playing chess. Look at his fucked up fingers. He's got like little child fingers. His fingers themselves are like becoming life forms. And you have this like the thing like monstrosity that he's placing on some chessboard. What the fuck? I find these incredibly entertaining and I have zero idea why. Well, this is what I mean. It's like if this wasn't like, if it wasn't using like enough energy that's supplied by a nuclear reactor in a year to create these images, like maybe we could find some value in them. Because it's like they're weird and disturbing and ridiculous, but it is kind of entertaining. I take it back. You've convinced me that LLMs are a valuable technology that are definitely worth all the money and resources being poured into it. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? This is so... It's so bizarre. What is this? I couldn't find the original source, just some dipshit blue check, but this video is so funny. Oh yeah, no, I did see this, like everyone covering for Biden. No, and Brick's News is pretty reliable. This man's got it all together. You see his wife, Jill notices something's going on. What are you doing, sir?
So that was from earlier, and this is live now.
Sure, well let's all turn around. Let's all just have a little turn around. Brick's News is not reliable? Okay, well I didn't know if it was like an official account or just some kind of like something that's using the Brick's name. The song reminded him of when he was in the trenches for done. Yeah. He had a who am I moment. He disassociated. Back to the AI slop though. The hamburger toilet. Look at how society is refusing to adopt these little souls. Oh, those poor kitties. Look at these poor kitties. They're all alone, shivering in the rain because you won't like this image on Facebook. 271K likes on Facebook. Croatia. This is like an MC Escher painting. The only dream that comes true. Like, what does this even mean? What does this mean? It's a little boy dreaming about peeing in a field. It do be like that. It do be like that. Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Beautiful cabin crew. Scarlett Johansson. Hashtag boom challenge. What is that? Why those hashtags? More Jesus and the devil boxing. You know, but this is the thing. It's like, I agree that the people that are using, like, the ones that are like are behind this technology are not good people. The whole energy concerns, I still find it kind of interesting. Like, sometimes I sit around with my son and we think of like ideas for stories and stuff like that, right? And then I'm able, sometimes we're thinking of like comic book characters or whatever, and I'm able to go into like Bing or whatever it is and kind of create images of the kind of things that we're dreaming up. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Or like, he's always obsessed with coming up with like cartoon characters and stuff. And at one point I used AI, or it was the DALL-E image creator thing, to do a 3D render of like a toy version of like the thing that he's thinking up. And it's fucking cool. Like, it's neat. I don't think this is inherently bad, but it is bad though when it's these libertarian tech guys behind it. You know? I agree with that. I don't think inherently, and like I said, there's a big difference between that, which is an actual technology. It's actually doing something, versus crypto or NFTs that is literally just a scam. Let me see if I can show you something here. Where's all my stuff here? Just one sec. Just trying to find my, sometimes collections. Okay, like here's an example of what I'm talking about though. So the other day we were me and my son were coming up with this idea for like a noir character. I can't remember how this got started off, how we were talking about this. I think it was because of Calvin and Hobbes and Tracer Bullet. Like, Tracer Bullet has like the hard-boiled like PI thing. And I was telling him about like the Maltese Falcon and Sam Spade and stuff like that. And we started coming up with this like kind of noir story, which we ended up settling on being called Patrick Pierce and the Brass Iguana. And then I go and log into AI and I can create this little like movie poster for Patrick Pierce and the Brass Iguana. And I don't know. That's cool. That's cool to me that I can do that. I think that's an interesting thing that like didn't exist even a couple years ago. I can just go and we can have these ideas and we can turn it into a real thing. I find that interesting. I think I've showed this before, but see if I can find the thing that I'm talking about here. One more moment. We've created a lot of me and my son have created a lot of AI slop. I got to admit. There's all kinds of stuff. But come on, you're saying that if I made merch of this, you wouldn't want to buy one of these bad boys? Look, it's me. There were some better ones with guitars and microphones and stuff. I can't quite find those ones. I don't know. Anyway. I do find it's an interesting technology. It's really just about who is controlling this technology and who's not. Oh, Mask loves you. Thanks for the 7 months of tier 1. I really appreciate that. Mask loves you. Thank you. I'm sorry that the alert didn't play. I don't know what's going on with that. Just scrolling through some more AI slop. I don't need alerts. I just need you. Thank you, Mask loves you. That's very kind of you. Thank you for that. And remember, if anyone else does want to subscribe to this show, please do. 20 subs to go. If someone did very, very generously give 20 subs, and in case it didn't play the alert, I could also do that manually. So if you were thinking about gifting 20 subs today, and you're like, I gotta wait for a time that, the alerts are gonna play. I don't want to gift 20 subs and not have the alert play as well. I'm just saying, like, I could just play the alert manually. Like, that wouldn't be a problem to do. Just in case, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but just in case anyone was sitting there and thinking that, it wouldn't be a problem. That's all I'm saying. But this is not very engaging content when I'm just scrolling. Just seeing if there's anything interesting I can show you from the AI slop that I've created. No takers on that 20 sub thing, huh? I do kind of love the AI slop too, so I get how people are torn. This is it. And like, listen, if it's a choice between continuing to have the option to make AI slop and having a livable planet, I choose the livable planet. To be totally clear. To be totally clear. You know? I choose the livable planet ahead of that. How I'm trying to be, says Cool J. Someone just closed a work email to me with, have a cracking weekend. Friday, and it ain't even 10 a.m. yet. What a guy. This is how you do it. I might sign off now too, brother. Have a cracking weekend by yourself, by the way. Hell yeah. I hope you all have cracking weekends. I guess eventually we're going to have to talk about the news. It's been a lot of chit chat this week. Maybe we can get some kind of a YouTube situation going on now. Maybe we can explore some important topics in the news. Or we could just keep looking at AI slop all day as well. China might have cured type 2 diabetes. Looks like it's Reese's peanut butter cups for dinner. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's a free-for-all. You heard it here first, folks. And this is, once again, this is official medical advice. You can now eat whatever you want, and it's not a big deal. You can eat whatever you want. You no longer have to worry about it. That's official medical advice from me to you. It's storming out now, so I'm feeling pretty good about getting a little walk in while it was briefly sunny. Yeah, I seem to. It seems it's pretty nice outside now. So hopefully I'm able to go to this thing with my son later because he was quite excited about it. China curing diabetes. Cuba curing lung cancer. I'm about to go on a binge. Few could conceive. Fuck it. I just did laundry and I gotta say the merch shirts are holding up or fading very nicely by design on the retro looking ones. I've had like mixed experiences with this, with the merch stuff. Like this one, totally fine. A lot of the ones on white, I have some merch shirts that have fallen apart right away. Like I have some merch shirts that are totally unrecognizable, and I have some that have stood the test of time. I don't totally understand what it is about which. I was just in stream, but I saw I was gifted. Appreciate a gift here. I love this channel. Well, thank you, Perfect Speller, for gifting a sub, and thank you, Dr. Yasman. I'm glad. I'm glad someone gifted you a sub as well. I'm happy to have you back here. I can't skip the hot dryer. I can't. I need that hot dryer. Washing inside out I can do. I gotta have that hot dryer though. I gotta have it. Okay, I'm just thinking about what to do next. You know what? Maybe I'll take just like a short interlude. I think that might be good. I'm going to be here about another hour or so. Maybe this has gone by very fast. I'm almost at 3 hours already. Chat, I just have such an enjoyable time, an engaging time chatting with you and hanging out with you. The time just shoots right by. Like, I can't actually put on an hour-long video now because then that's going to be way too long. There's nowhere near enough time to do that, to get through that. The chit-chat zone is an alluring siren indeed. It's gone by very quickly. So now I don't really know what to do. I might have been a little bit of an impasse here. Maybe I'll just take a little interlude for like 5 minutes, and I'll come back and we'll chat some more, and then I'll just call it a day. After we reach the sub goal, of course. Don't think I forgot about that. Don't think I forgot about that. I didn't. Let's discuss housework more. I got a big load of dishes I got to do. Did some yesterday, but got way more to do here. And I'm having a plant issue with my peace lily. My peace lily seems very like temperamental. I water it every day, and I spritz the leaves. My understanding with my peace lily was that it doesn't need like to be constantly watered. But I feel like when I don't, I come in and it's like, oh, it's like it's doing the plant version of that. Oh, I guess I'll just die. It gets all lilted. It looks all depressing. So I don't totally understand. Like, I don't know if I got to just be dumping water on this thing every day, but it's very temperamental. It's better today because I did give it a bunch of water yesterday. I've been doing pretty good at maintaining the routine when it comes to daily apartment quests, and it's nice. It really does help. I'm behind on some stuff, Sean. Looking around, my living room is quite clean. My desk is not looking too good. My kitchen's not looking too good, but I feel like if you cover some of those bases, it's all right. My room's not great, but my bed is made. I got some clutter. I got some clutter issues. Oh, hello, Dane. The dishes. The dishes. The dishes indeed. I'll be right back, okay? I'm going to go just take a brief interlude here. I'm going to get some water and go to the bathroom, etc. I'm going to come back. We'll chat some more. Then after the sub goal is completed, then it will be time to say goodbye. Okay, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Yeah, risk inverse. You got to clean as you go. That's the thing that I'm trying to learn. Sorry. I'm still here. Housework is a true hamster wheel. I took over almost all cooking for the last 2 years, and keeping a kitchen clean and making meals is a whole last thing. You got to clean as you go, but I haven't learned. I'm not like lecturing you. I haven't learned that myself. I find it really, really hard, but that's the secret. That's the trick. You got to be doing dishes as you go. But it's really hard. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Hello. I told you it would just be a little brief interlude. A little brief interlude. I'm back. Hello. You been having dog chat? I'm excited for you though, Dane. I don't think I'll ever get a dog, but I think if I did, I would like to get like a weird little guy. Like a little chihuahua or like one of these little freaks. I think if I was going to get a dog, it would be one of those kind of situations. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, chat. Imagine if I had a little weird little guy though. That'd be fun. Give it the same mullet. Yeah, I could have it. Could style it up. Give it little Hawaiian shirts, little floral shirts. They say dogs look like the owners. Well, that's the thing. I'm a big weird guy. So if I had a little weird guy, it would be perfect. I've always really wanted to get a Sphinx cat. Could I be a... I really don't think I'm going to get any more pets, like I've talked about a couple times. Sphinx cats... There's no weirder little freak and pet than a Sphinx cat, though. He's got a white stripe on his face, and I'm getting a Bonnie Raitt rogue stripe myself. There you go. It's already happening. You gotta bathe the Sphinx cats. I could handle that, I think. I think I could handle that. Zolosuquintis are the dog equivalent. Big, black, hairless pre-Columbian dogs. That seems like a lot, though. I could moisturize... If it came down to it, I could moisturize a Sphinx cat. That wouldn't be a big problem. I don't think. That's fine. Like, I take care of a child. I think I could take care of a hairless cat. But that's the thing. It's a whole big process getting one. I would need more than 35 subs. I would need more than that. And in fact, I only need 19. I only need 19 subs. What's a good weird little guy name? I don't know. I think like the more normal human name, the funnier it is. You know, if you've got a weird little guy. If it was like Bill or something. Like imagine if I had a little Sphinx cat named Bill and I gave him little sweatshirts or something. That would be fun. I love human names for pets. I really enjoy that, even though Momo's not really a human name, but Mr. or something. That is good. Yeah, that is good. You get into knitting and make a little sweater. I always enjoyed that. My fucking hair. Jeez. My pet chihuahua Vladimir. Joseph Steele. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. But again, I've talked about it a lot. I don't think I'm going to go down the pet path. I just don't know. Momo is coming to stay with me for a little bit. That'll be interesting. I am going to have a little visit period with Momo in my apartment. That'll be fun. Hopefully that goes okay. My golden retriever, Dennis. Make sure you put the lily away. Yeah, you were saying that it's toxic. I'll just have to find like a place that I can put it up higher. I think Momo's getting up in the age and she like up in the years, and like I think she's having a harder time like getting up high into places. Like she's having a hard time even like jumping onto the sofa. So I probably won't have to do much to make it inaccessible to her. I know. Poor Momo. I'll be able to have some good Momo pics though in that period. I'm looking forward to spending some time with her. I might get going soon, folks, because like, listen, this has been very fun to hang out today. I'm sorry if like people have been tuning in for like serious journalism and analysis and stuff this week. I've just been doing a lot of hanging out and chit-chatting, which is like kind of nice sometimes. Yesterday I talked a lot about, the news, and I found myself getting very like angry and almost crying a couple times, which I thought I was past, but apparently not. Was this not serious journalism? I don't know. It's been fun. We had a little bit of a conversation about like the economy and stuff like that. It's not like it was just a complete waste of time or anything like that. It's your birthday week, so you're allowed to have fun as a treat. And unfortunately, it seems like I'm finishing out my birthday week coming up short for my sub goals. Which is, I'm like the AI slop now. It's my birthday. I'm a special little birthday guy. One of these like weird AI slop creations. But honestly, like the reality is the viewers just haven't really been there. The viewers need to be up higher to be able to like have a chance to be able to get to those goals every day. And I don't think I really feel like sitting here for the next hour and like kind of trying to manufacture that, I don't really feel like doing it. What I think what I'm going to do instead is just leave. I think that's what I'm going to do. And who cares if my birthday week is totally ruined? The shit's awful and we should rage and cry. Well, that's the thing, Lodane. It's like, I think I got to a point like early on in the Gaza stuff where it was just like, I don't know how I'm going to keep looking at this. And I had a kind of epiphany where I stopped feeling sorry for myself about it, and I started just being filled with rage and not feeling like my soul was being destroyed or like I wanted to cry all the time. I don't know. There was some stuff yesterday talking about that kid in Rafah that really got to me, though. Can this soldier get one like? Why do images like this not go viral? Yeah, we are going to be serious business. We are going to be serious business on Monday when I come back. What the hell's going on in this movie here? Jesus. Amazing Bird Show. Thanks for the 35 months of Prime. I'll try to fix the alerts for Monday too. I don't know if there's anything I can do, because apparently like a number of other Twitch people have been mentioning that the alerts weren't working, so I don't know if it's just me or if it's some larger issue. But thanks, Amazing Bird Show, for the 35 months. One measly month away. Amazing Bird Show from 36 months. That's the 3-year Pearl sub badge. So close I can taste it. Good. I really appreciate the support, Amazing Bird Show, and I appreciate the support from everyone today and every other day as well. Hit me up if you want to figure out the tech stuff together. Well, what I'll try just like the regular stuff of like logging out and logging back in, which has helped sometimes in the past, but the question is whether this is a larger problem with like Streamlabs or whatever. Oh, thank you, Anon, for the 3 gifted subs. Thank you very much, Anon. That's very kind of you. Nobody wants to work anymore, including alerts. That's right. It's hard enough to make the number go up. It's even harder to make the little number go up and people don't get the little dopamine hit of triggering the alert on the screen. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason Twitch has become a popular platform, is because people can have the alerts. And you can have a little Skinner box situation where you press the little button and it triggers a little thing on the screen from happening. That's the whole point. You know? Did anyone else stop getting go live notifications for Rob despite everything being set to? I think that's just like a Twitch thing. It's like I've been hearing that since I started doing this kind of stuff. Anyway, thanks again, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot. There is still time, and if you'll forgive me for continuing to do this, but it's been programmed into my brain. There is still time, in theory, if anyone wanted to still gift 15 subs. That is still a possibility. It is still a possibility in theory. You know, obviously we're starting to run low on time. It's getting to be kind of down to the wire, but in theory, getting to the goal is still possible. Like, it's theoretically possible. And that's all I'm saying. Okay. All right, what's next? What are we doing? What's going on? Thanks again, everybody. I will see you on Monday, okay? I highly suggest considering some short weekend gaming streams in the future, because we have got West Coasters and day workers that miss you and want to get their triangle action. Okay, well that's good advice, Slowdane. Like I've been saying, I do want to get back into hell diving. It's totally been because of like basketball that I've just been really distracted with that over the last 6 weeks or so. And like I said, I did get a PS4. I am going to start Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe there's a way for me to stream that in a way that is like actually entertaining for people, I'm going to look into that as well. All those Aussie Rob heads out there. All those Aussie Rob heads, dozens and dozens of Aussie Rob heads are out there. Just the easier way would be to capture card. I know, but I don't want to sit in this chair anymore. This is my problem. I don't want to sit in this chair to game. I want to sit on sofa. I want to sit on the sofa in gaming, you know? Because this hurts my rear end sometimes. That's the reality.